Hey everyone, and welcome back to another deep dive. I'm Harry, and I'm always up for a good mystery. So today we're going to be tackling one that's truly atomic.
I'm Kimi, and I think you're going to find this mystery particularly electrifying as we uncover the story of Lise Meitner, a physicist who made groundbreaking discoveries in nuclear physics, but whose contributions haven't always gotten the spotlight they deserve.
Yeah, her name might not be as familiar as, say, Einstein or Curie, but trust me, Lise Meitner's journey is one for the books, and it all starts in Vienna back in 1878.
Imagine Vienna in the late 1800s, a time when women in science faced more roadblocks than a construction site during rush hour. But Lisa's passion for science burned brighter than a Bunsen burner.
She loved math and physics, but back then women weren't even allowed to attend public universities, so can you believe she actually trained to be a French teacher?
Talk about a plot twister.
Yeah.
But even this seemingly unrelated path would prove useful later on, helping her navigate international collaborations and eventually, you guessed it, escaping Nazi Germany.
Wow, what a story already. But even with all these obstacles, Lise persevered. She eventually earned her doctorate in physics from the University of Vienna in 1906, becoming only the second woman to achieve that feat.
And from there, she set her sights on Berlin, the epicenter of scientific activity at the time, eager to dive deeper into the world of physics.
But even Berlin wasn't exactly a welcoming party for female scientists, right? Like I heard they weren't even allowed in the university buildings.
It's almost unbelievable, isn't it? They relegated her to a converted woodshop in the basement. Imagine that, a brilliant physicist working amongst sawdust and wood shavings.
That just shows her dedication, and it's there she met Otto Hahn, a chemist who became her longtime research partner. They really hit it off, scientifically speaking, and focused their research on the hot topic of the day, radioactivity.
And you know what they say? Sometimes the best discoveries happen in the most unexpected places. And in that basement woodshop, amidst the tools and timber, they made a significant discovery, a brand new element they called protactinium in 1918.
So basically, they were like the Marie Curie and Pierre Curie of protactinium, proving that science can bloom anywhere, even in a makeshift lab.
Oh, and speaking of makeshift labs, they even had their own dedicated radium house on the grounds for handling radioactive materials. Can you imagine having that in your backyard nowadays?
Right. The neighbors would be freaking out, but hey, this was just the beginning. Lise was about to delve into even deeper mysteries, like the puzzling behavior of beta radiation.
Ah, yes, beta radiation. Those pesky electrons emitted from radioactive atoms that weren't behaving as expected according to the laws of physics.
So what was the problem with these beta particles? Were they like doing the wave at a physics conference or something?
Well, imagine this. Physicists believed that electrons in an atom could only occupy specific energy levels, like steps on a staircase. But the energy of these beta particles was all over the place, continuous spectrum, like someone was walking between the steps.
That's like finding a missing piece of a puzzle, or in this case, a missing step on the staircase, and this is where Lisa's sharp mind really came into play.
Exactly. She suspected there might be another particle involved, something so tiny and elusive it was practically invisible, carrying away some of that missing energy.
Okay, now we're talking a ghost particle? This sounds like something straight out of a science fiction novel.
Oh.
Did they even have the tools to find something like that back then?
It was a long shot, for sure. It took years of research and the combined efforts of many brilliant minds. But eventually, this ghost particle, dubbed the neutrino, was discovered, proving Lisa's intuition and the power of collaboration in science.
It's incredible to think how far she came from a basement woodshop to uncovering the secrets of beta decay. But as we'll soon see, things were about to take a dramatic turn for Lise, both personally and professionally, as the world plunged into chaos with the rise of Nazism. It's really hard to grasp the weight of what Lise was facing. I mean, imagine being forced to flee your home, your country, everything you've ever known just because of your heritage.
It was a truly dark period in history, and sadly, Lisa's story is just one of many stories of displacement and persecution during that time. But amidst this turmoil, Lisa's story takes an interesting turn scientifically speaking, that is.
Oh yeah, I remember reading about her escape. It was pretty daring, right? Like something out of a spy movie.
Absolutely. She had to leave Germany in secret with the help of some courageous colleagues like Dirk Koster, a Dutch physicist, who helped orchestrate her escape in July of 1938.
Can you believe she left with just 2 small suitcases and a diamond ring from Otto Hahn in case she needed to sell it? Talk about a life-changing moment.
It really puts things in perspective, doesn't it? The things we take for granted and the sacrifices people make in the face of such adversity, and even after all of this, Lisa's scientific curiosity never wavered.
It's amazing how she managed to stay focused on her work with everything else going on, but I guess that's the mark of a truly dedicated scientist. So what was she working on at this point?
Well, she continued to correspond with Otto Hahn, who, along with Fritz Strassmann, was still in Berlin. And they were conducting these groundbreaking experiments, bombarding uranium with neutrons, hoping to create heavier elements.
Sounds kind of like they were trying to build a supersized atom, kind of like atomic Legos.
You could say that, but what they ended up discovering was far more profound and completely unexpected. They were stumbling into uncharted territory, and the results they were getting were frankly mind-boggling.
Okay, you've got to give us the details. What were they seeing that was so strange? I know there's something about barium being involved, right?
Right, so they were finding a whole mix of radioactive products, which was expected, but one in particular stood out. It behaved chemically like barium, which was much lighter than uranium, significantly lighter, in fact, about 40% less in terms of atomic mass.
Okay, so it's like trying to bake a chocolate cake and ending up with a strawberry shortcake. How could something like that even happen? It just doesn't make sense.
It was a complete enigma. No known nuclear process at the time could explain such a dramatic decrease in mass. It was as if the uranium atom was somehow splitting into smaller fragments.
Whoa, splitting the atom. Now, that's a phrase that has some serious weight behind it. And I'm guessing this is where Lise Meitner, safe in Sweden, re-enters the picture.
Exactly. She received a letter from Hahn describing these perplexing barium results, and it's like a light bulb went off in her head. She was onto something big.
I can almost picture her pacing back and forth, trying to piece it all together. So what was this eureka moment that changed everything?
Well, picture this. She's walking in the snow with her nephew, Otto Robert Frisch, also a physicist, and it hits them. The uranium nucleus wasn't simply being chipped away at. It was actually splitting into two lighter nuclei, a process they named nuclear fission.
Now, that's what I call a walk. To remember a casual stroll in the snow, leading to one of the most significant discoveries in scientific history. But what did this mean for our understanding of the atom?
It was a monumental shift in our understanding. It revealed that the atom wasn't the indivisible building block we once thought it was, and the implications were far-reaching.
You know, it's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it. This discovery that literally changed the world happened just as the world was on the verge of another war. Talk about a recipe for disaster.
It really is a chilling thought, isn't it? The timing couldn't have been more precarious, with tensions rising across Europe, and then suddenly you have this incredible power literally at your fingertips.
It's almost like something out of a science fiction novel, right? This groundbreaking scientific discovery happening right as the world is teetering on the brink of chaos.
It's a stark reminder that scientific progress doesn't exist in a vacuum, and the potential applications of nuclear fission, both good and bad, were immediately apparent.
And I think this is where Lise Meitner's story takes on a whole new level of significance, because here she was, a Jewish scientist who was forced to flee her home country, and she could have easily joined the race to build the atomic bomb, but she didn't.
Many scientists at the time felt a sense of duty to contribute to the war effort, and it's understandable given the circumstances, but Lise refused to participate in the Manhattan Project.
She was adamant about not wanting to be involved in creating a weapon of mass destruction, which is a testament to her character and her strong moral compass.
It's a powerful reminder that scientific discovery is not just about knowledge and innovation, it's also about responsibility and the choices we make as scientists.
And speaking of recognition, there's a bit of a controversial chapter in this story that we need to address. The 1944 Nobel Prize in Chemistry was awarded to Otto Hahn for the discovery of nuclear fission, but Lise Meitner was completely overlooked.
It's a decision that's been debated for decades, and it really highlights the complexities of scientific collaboration and the challenges of recognizing interdisciplinary work.
There were certainly many factors involved. The war made communication difficult. Lise was working in Sweden while Hahn remained in Germany. And there's always been this tendency to view theoretical physics as somehow less important than experimental work.
It's a shame that Lise never received the Nobel Prize, especially considering she was held in such high esteem by many prominent scientists, including Albert Einstein, who compared her to Marie Curie in terms of her brilliance and contributions to physics.
But even without that ultimate accolade, her legacy as a brilliant physicist, a courageous woman who defied societal norms, and a principled individual who stood by her convictions is undeniable.
Absolutely. She continued to make significant contributions to nuclear physics after the war, working in Sweden and later moving to England to be closer to her family. She received numerous awards and honors throughout her career, but I think her greatest legacy is the inspiration she provides for future generations of scientists.
Her story is a testament to the power of perseverance and the importance of following your passion, even when faced with seemingly insurmountable obstacles. And it reminds us that behind every groundbreaking discovery, there's a human story with its own unique twists and turns.
And ultimately, it's a story that challenges us to think about the role of science in society and the responsibility that comes with unlocking the secrets of the universe. So, as we wrap up this deep dive into the extraordinary life of Lise Meitner, let's remember her not just for her scientific achievements, but for her courage, her integrity, and her unwavering belief in the power of human ingenuity. Thanks for joining us on this journey, and until next time, keep exploring the wonders of science and the remarkable stories of those who dared to push the boundaries of human knowledge.